All right, let's keep this short and sweet. So the main reason why I decided to do this video was because it gave me a good excuse to do the thumbnail. I thought the thumbnail was going to be funny. So in this case, if you haven't heard, the United States Marine Corps lost an F-35, like state of the art stealth fighter jet. And I can tell you from personal experience, we're never going to know the exact story behind this because it's absurd and it's going to be very inaccessible to a lot of people that are outside of a very narrow set of people in the military that understand like flight and how what would be the word, how much incompetence would go into doing something like this. And that was the main reason behind, besides the thumbnail, why I would want to talk about this is that the pilot, the reports are the pilot lost the plane in bad weather, ejected while the plane was in autopilot, but neglected to turn on the tracking device because it's a stealth fighter, and then it flew 60 to 75 miles, may have been inverted at one point, and then crashed into the woods outside a residential area. $80 million jet gone. So besides me being funny and putting a wig on a plane, the idea is how you get a pilot that could be this obnoxiously incompetent. And I think it should go without having to explain it that we have a massive, crisis of competence in the Western world because we're selecting for people to do certain tasks and we're not selecting for the traits that would be good for those tasks. We're selecting for other traits because, and I'm going to say the inconvenient part out loud, there's a lot of us this way, that we felt sympathy for certain people because we felt like they deserved to have a chance, and that chance that we gave them should bypass their ability to actually be able to do that task. That's the long and short of it. In order for us to feel better about ourselves, we allowed people that didn't try hard enough or could never do something to do something and eject from a perfectly good plane because they just couldn't fly it well enough. And at this point, you have to be wondering, like, how are the Marine Corps selecting for those people to fly a state-of-the-art jet that would have a number of comedy of errors to lead them to the point where this would occur? Because obviously there was not enough due diligence to allow the plane to go out in bad weather to begin with, and then for the pilot to eject a perfectly good plane that could fly 60 to 70 miles and then forget to turn the transponder on, but at the same time actually leave the. I just don't understand it. And my experience with the military, I can talk about certain things. I can't talk about flying a jet in the Marine Corps. I can't. But I just don't know how you would select a pilot that would get to the point that would seem so overwhelmed that they would do something like this if this is the story. So let's talk about teachers and teachers unions. So what are we selecting for with our teachers at this point if we can't select someone that's competent enough to fly a fighter jet? What are we selecting for in teachers when it comes to taking 30 children within a community and preparing them to be the next generation of fighter jet pilots? I don't know what we're selecting for, but I imagine they're the same criteria that has led us to the pilot that would fly the plane. And then again, I wonder like what criteria we're seeking as voters that would lead us to put people into office to lead us that would allow teachers to teach children the lessons that they need in order to eject from a perfectly good fighter jet over South Carolina because it was too difficult to fly the plane in weather conditions. I don't know. So anyway, this is just my excuse to put a wig on a fighter jet.